Hey fam, it's your girl here, Souljourner Howard, and checking in. It's been a minute. It has been a very interesting summer, but one of growth, which is pretty fantastic, and reflection and course adjustments, which is the title of what we're talking about today. Course adjustments. So I am three-quarters of the way done with this part of my cancer journey, with this portion. So coming up to my last chemo infusion, and my taste buds are coming back. My energy level is coming up. Kind of ate up my nails, and chemo is just no joke. So shout out to all of you all that know someone that's been touched with any form of cancer, because it is a very hard road to travel. It's like good night. I mean, from the sleepless nights because my body is aching, my joints are aching, not wanting to eat, my protein shakes being my best friend, the nausea, the fatigue, just unmatched, unreal, unscripted. The fatigue was crazy. I am a very active person. So, Sunday school teacher, high school teacher, mom of three, um, active in the community with autism and special needs, and a wife, a sister, a friend, a mentor. And this sidelined me. I was just exhausted. Getting up and taking a shower would require a nap afterwards. I was not used to the level of fatigue that I experienced during chemo and continue to experience. I tried to go to the grocery store this week by myself. I thought I was a big girl. I was like, I'm going to the grocery store. I'm feeling good. I went to the grocery store and I was about in tears by the time I pulled up to my house. My youngest son was home. He got all the groceries out, or stayed sat in the car because I had no energy. After walking around, hanging on the cart, usually I'm in the little zippy little chairs, that they have at the grocery store. Well, I knew that I was like, I have an apple and an orange in the fridge, and I got to get some food for these brothers to eat, right? I need food. So I went grocery shopping, and I need things that they are able to make themselves. Deli meat, turkey burgers, just stuff that I could coach them through. They can make it themselves, hands on. Everybody's working, so you need stuff for lunch, quick and healthy. And so I was like, I got to get this stuff. Oh my gosh, lifting that stuff and putting it in my car. And then of course I chose one of the hot, I think the heat indices was almost 105. One of the hottest days of the week I chose to do this. And I was drenched. And I was like, I need a shower. So my son put all the stuff in the house and helped me put everything away. And then I was like, I need a shower, and I can't even talk. Like, I'm so exhausted. I'm just completely exhausted. Now, grocery day back in the day used to be a thing. You would hit no less than three stores for this special, this bargain, this. You had to coordinate where you get your bread, where you do. I mean, I'm a hustler, right? And you got to be feeding a family of four in this day and age, because the dollar, same dollar, worth less. Okay. And I could only do one store. I had to do one store and just pick what I could pick. Okay. And I used to do the whole coupon thing, and I had my coupon pamphlet. I mean, I would be saving $25, $30 on a grocery trip, y'all. I don't have the energy to do that. I don't have the wherewithal to do that. And the mental fatigue of everyday tasks. This is the ugly side of cancer. The mental fatigue. I have two master degrees. Boo. If you'd asked me to add 5 plus 5 and multiply that by 5, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I was just that tired. Um, you have brain fog. Brain fog is brain fog. I had it from COVID. Like I didn't remember when I did things, and I had to write everything down, and then I wouldn't remember where I wrote it down. Chemo brain is like that, trying to keep the household finances together, trying to make sure my boys, which are autistic, very high functioning, very proud of them, are coordinated and doing what they're supposed to do. And then at the same token, my husband switching gears and careers because his health would not allow him to continue as a maintenance technician for 20 years, which that is a grind. Working as an apartment tech, you get a good apartment tech, they're worth their weight in gold. It is a grind. You're doing all types of journeyman level work without the journeyman level pay and without the benefit of a labor union. I think teachers need a labor union. I think lay people and all tradespeople need a labor union because people just don't know how to do right. You're not living by God's standards, so therefore you don't treat people right. God was going to come in a conversation because that's who I believe in, and not just any God, Jesus Christ. Okay, you believe as you believe, but I'm gonna tell you what I know. Anywho, if you've been following me any amount of time, you should be used to it. So, course adjustment. I have to adjust myself to fit my energy and what I want to do to what I realistically can do. It can't be the other way around. This is what I got to do, and my energy just has to fit it. That's not how it works. Chemo takes that from you. You are exhausted. I have a few good hours, and then after that, I'm down. And if I push myself past the point, then that means I'm going to be in a lot of pain later. I'm not going to be able to sleep. I'm going to be aching. Okay. Oregano oil worked wonders, uh, but it has a very pungent odor. It's oregano. Tylenol, ibuprofen. You can't keep taking that stuff long term because it's going to affect you. All right. Anywho, that little tidbit about cancer. I'm so glad that next week is my last port treatment. And then we can move on to, we've got surgery, we've got radiation, we've got, other things. But so that I could get to my new normal. I can't say that I'm gonna get back to where I was. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna work on being stronger as my energy level allows me to do so. Just being able to take a walk. And that's something that I used to do every Saturday morning. A good power walk for like 45 minutes to an hour and a half. That was my stress relief. That was my powering through, powering through, powering through. To be able to work my way back up to that is going to be really nice. Your stomach has shrunk, been able to lose solid weight, which is great. And take that as a jumping off point to smaller portions. Meat has not been my friend. It's been very hard for me to eat, to process the smell. So go with it. For me, meat is just not a dominant part of my landscape. I'm not saying I won't ever eat it again, but seafood has been working good. Mediterranean, vegetarian options has been working great for me. I like that. Go with it. Again, course adjustments. Some course adjustments are necessary because you're doing something wrong and you need to get back on track. You got to get back to your center. Okay. My center is Christ. And not that I've ever left, and he has never left me through this journey, but it has been some days where I have been depressed. Absolutely. Absolutely. Been depressed, feeling lonely, even though I'm not, feeling isolated because, hey, I've been put on the timeout bench and I'm not even watching from the sidelines. So if your social group and the nexus of your social life is wrapped up in work, I'm gonna tell you, you need to do something else Because if something happens to that job, then that's your entire social group. Then what are you going to do? And then that's all of your connections. You have got to spread yourself a wider net, okay? And expand your sphere to outside of just one nucleus, okay? I had a social group at work. I have a bigger social group at church. Okay, that's not the reason why I go to church, but I have friends of the faith and that have become family to me and absolutely love them. And we support each other and go to kids' birthday parties and events and hang out and all that. I'm used to being active. You can't be active like this. I get chemo on Thursday, probably not going to church on Sunday, probably not going to church on Wednesday. Okay, so now you feel like you're missing out. Well, you're not working. And the further out, I've been off of work since February, the further out you go from work, the less the phone calls are, the less the texts are. Okay, because you're not in the stream of the now. It's not bashing anyone and it's not throwing shade. It just is reality. That's how we are as human beings. Okay. If it's not right in front of us, then we don't give it our attention. Look at our news feed. Look at our news feed. We're still talking about Texas. All my prayers are going out for you folks in Texas. Okay. Our family in Texas, our brothers and sisters in Christ in Texas. This is horrendous. For those who don't know Christ, horrendous, horrendous thing to have to deal with. And Texas strong. Prayers going out to you all, New Mexico, everyone that is affected by the flood. Now we've been talking about it for a week. Well, it must be a really big deal because we've been talking about it for a week. Usually it's one day. That's all you get, your 10 seconds in the spotlight. And then we done wrapped it up, moved on to the next thing. So human nature. But we're talking about course adjustments. I've got to adjust my course. Sometimes we have dreams and aspirations. We have goals. We make a goal board. We make an objective sheet. We write out our short term and our long term, but nowhere in there can we plan for special needs kids. We can't plan for heart attacks. We can't plan for cancer diagnosis. And we can't, hi, baby. Yeah, my husband just walked in. We can't plan for forced layoffs. We can't plan for forced early retirements. We can't plan for any of that. We can't plan for natural disasters. We can't plan for inflation. Same dollar, less amount of buying power. Okay. We can't plan for it. You got to make course adjustments to be where you need to be so that you can get to where you need to be at. Okay. I thought that all I was going to do was teach, 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 teach. When I finally accepted my calling on teaching, because I ran away from it because it's not what I wanted to do. It wasn't in my wheelhouse. And God was like, yeah, we're bringing you back full circle. So after 16, 17 years in education, absolutely loved it. Served as an instructional assistant, Title I reading specialist, temporary person on staff, sub, to finally lead teacher. Absolutely love it. Okay. The good, the bad, the ugly, because that's with any position. But now there's a course adjustment. You're still going to teach, but it may not be in the way that you're accustomed to. You got to switch gears, mama. Because the question is, when you get done with this last bout of cancer, round of chemo, excuse me. When you get done with chemo and you have surgery and you're in recovery and you're on a 6-month regimen with other medications to make sure that this tumor that you have does not come back, Are you going to be able within that time to regain your stamina so that you can deal with that ratio of 1 to 30 in your classroom? I don't think so. I don't think so. I've been talking to other patients that have survived cancer and are in recovery, and good friends of mine. And I'm surrounded by a beautiful community of nurses, very knowledgeable people that God has given me. And I have to do a course adjustment. I'm still going to teach, but I got to expand my sphere to outside of the classroom. Course adjustment. One of my sisters, her career trajectory with the company that we're all familiar with, uh, that she was very successful at one point, has basically told her, not a lot of room for you here, and we don't see a bunch of growth, and so we probably should part ways. That's not what they said, but you know how they say stuff, and then you hear stuff, and this is what they mean. Okay. So they said it in a more elegant way than that. She has to make a course adjustment. I'm so glad that the Lord gave her a vision of what it was that she needed to start working on 6 months before she was like, yeah, it's not you, it's us. That whole conversation, so that she could start working to fulfill the vision that God has for her and operate on the level that God wants her to operate on. Course adjustment. So here's the thing about a Christian, a true Christian, because there's a lot of phonies out here. Let's just be real. If you are truly walking with God, you're going to adhere to his word because he is his word. And you're going to obey. Have I always obeyed? Oh my gosh. Have you heard my testimony about being a prodigal? No, haven't always obeyed, but I'm learning to obey because it's a lot easier on me to obey the God who made heaven and earth, who knows the hearts and thoughts of men and will give me course corrections that will be for my betterment and his glory. Okay? One of the scriptures I have is in Galatians, New Testament, second chapter, verse 20. I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. Crucified with Christ. That means that what I want has got to match what he wants. My will needs to match with his will. It's not an easy thing. It took me years to accept autism. The first time that I heard those words, I did not know what it meant. I sat up and cried as I listened to this panel of people tell me what was wrong with my kid and where the deficits were. And then God started placing people in front of me. And that whole, you need to go into education and be a teacher thing that I snobbed years earlier with the Lord and was like, no, God, I don't want to do that. Literally tell the God of heaven and earth that that's not what you want to do. Shh. Okay, we're so dumb. That's why he calls us sheep. Here I've got these autistic kids, and guess what? There's no daycare outside of when they were smaller. There's no after school care. I even had a school tell me that this is their first autistic student, a public school. This is their first in Virginia, public school in Virginia. Tell me that this is their first autistic student and we don't know how to teach them. So guess what I did? I couldn't find a job doing anything else. I applied for every executive assistant, secretary. I just knew I was going to get a job. Didn't understand that God was course adjusting me. And I went into education volunteering until the principal said to me one day, please fill out an application because you're here every day. Because I can teach my kid. And if you can train a dog, you can train a child. Give me a break. Give me the material and I'm going to teach him. And that's how I started in education. Now he's 23 and working. And he went to trade school and earned his veterinary assistant certificate. And the other one is 21 and looking to be a game tester. So if y'all know anybody, hit me up on my email, author, AUTHORSJ Howard at gmail.com. Course adjustments. I resisted them. I fought them. I did not like them because I don't do well with change. Well, God is changing that in me to be fluid, to be flexible, to move with his spirit, because we can't keep God in a box. He's way bigger than that. My sister's having a course adjustment and she's praising God, and the peace of God is all over her. Now, you'd have did this, Lord, 5 years ago, she'd have been freaking out. You'd have did this to me 5 years ago, out of if you'd allowed it. It would have freaked me out. That's our bread and butter. That's our paycheck. That's our insurance. That's our social network. That's God said, I will not have any other gods before me. You shall love the Lord your God, period, with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, not your job. Because when you die, you're going to look at Jesus, and either you're going to spend eternity with him or you're going to spend eternity in a place designated for people that didn't want Jesus. It's called hell. And even then, it's not going to last forever. Course adjustments. When you have a course adjustment, don't fight it. Get quiet. Get still. I invite you to get in with Christ. In Romans, the book of Romans, 8th chapter, all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called according to his purposes, not our purpose. When he needs us to change gears, when he needs to give us another assignment, that is not our purpose, but that is his purpose, and we have to trust it. Period. And yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be challenging. Yes, it's going to stretch our faith. Yes, it's going to increase our trust. But we're going to be better for it if we just die to self, make the necessary adjustments here in the natural, and say, Lord, I trust you, and start walking forward. This whole cancer thing has been a faith walk. I have no idea how this is going to end. There's no guarantees with anything, but yet I got to keep walking, even not knowing the outcome. And I am a A-type personality, and I want to know. Oh my gosh, you're a control freak. Why do you need to control things? Because of fear. I don't know what the outcome is going to be. So if I try to control it and make the outcome, then I know what it is. Okay, no, not anymore. Not anymore. I want what God has for me. I want the life that he died for me to have, because it is way better than anything that this pea brain can imagine. I want that. And in order for me to have it, when he makes his course adjustment, I got to flow along. I can fight it, but I'm going to end up coming back to it. Had I went into teaching when he told me to, I'd have had my 25 years in, and I've been sitting up here retired singing a different story. But then I wouldn't have been able to talk to you about course adjustments and being disobedient. Had I not course adjusted to my sons, it would have made our relationships very hard, and they may not have been as successful as they are now. I had to learn as they learned, teach them as they are able to be taught, and it helped me develop a passion for the neurodivergent community that I just love, expanding my territories. Okay, course adjustments. Course adjustments. You got to make them all the time. Okay, some people will call it compromise. No, this is not a compromise. This is saying that I'm recognizing that this season is over and this is no longer working. My grace is gone from this. I need to move on and do something else. Either I can move on and do something else, or it's just going to roll all over me. My sister, she realizes that her season is over. Her boss was being a Carl. Racism, prejudice, sexism is well and alive because people keep it well and alive because they don't want to come out and make a course adjustment. And then their lack of course adjustment will affect you. You got a black woman in engineering that is a male dominated field. Okay. You got to work with people that don't understand you, don't get you, ain't trying to. You're there to do the job. Bigger, better, to the squared power of five. Okay. And you do that, but yet you still are not accepted because you don't look like their niece. You don't look like their sister. You don't look like their wives, or you don't look like what they picture beauty should look like. It's still happening, people. More undercover, more undercover because people don't want to be called on the carpet. So it's harder for you to prove. So what do you do? Am I saying that this is what happened in this instance? No, he was just being a Carl. Her boss was just being a Carl, and he was just the other side of a donkey and didn't want to make any course adjustments and figured that he could do better without her. And you know what? Deuces. Because now she's getting ready to explode. God had already forewarned her. That's what happens when you are walking with the God of the universe. He forewarns you. He talks to you. He makes the course adjustment. So when these things start falling that you can't see, because he's the God that looks ahead and makes provision, he looked ahead and told her way back last summer. She started working on it. So when you got up to this summer and you get that, yeah, it's not you, it's us, but here's your pink slip, it wasn't like, ah, it was like, oh, okay. I'm glad I was already working on this. Deuces. Me, he warned me about cancer. He didn't tell me exactly what it was. He just said that I was getting ready to enter something that was going to be long and it was going to be hard. Okay. This is my course adjustment and I'm going to take it. I suggest you take your course adjustment too. I suggest that you do some evaluation. You check yourself and make sure your job, whatever part of your sphere that you're in, is not your God, and God is your God. Get closer to Him. That's where the love, the peace, all that stuff comes from, because it's by nature, we're self centered and selfish. Anyway, I've told you enough. And you will read the fruit of my course adjustment because I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to write about it. And I hope to help others with it, because course adjusting is not easy, and laying down what we want in comparison to what God wants us to do, realizing that a season has closed, you got to mourn that thing. You got to go through your steps of mourning. It's amen. It ain't easy, okay? But it's possible, and you will be better for it if you will go along with the flow of the river, okay? As long as God is making the course adjustment. All right, family. Take care. Until next time.